connects with Magnagor. Shot up and that's good.
Just like that, Wilson from 3 trains it.
Garvin again, same on. This time she drains it. What a performance from the Lynx.
The beautiful city of Ballarat in Victoria, the home of the Ballarat Sports Event Centre, which is the home away from home for the 4th place 2-2 Perth Lynx. They are suiting up for their 5th game of the year, 4th in 7 days. They take on the 3rd place 3-2 UC Capitals, a team that will be hell-bent on extracting some revenge on the party-pooping Perth side that ruined Kelly Wilson's history-making 400th WNBL game to the tune of 19 points just 5 days ago, humiliating the Caps at home. So get set. This is all the hallmarks of an absolute belter. Two very, very good teams doing battle this afternoon tonight. Sam Hargraves to call the action alongside 2006 World Champ with the Opals, 2008 Olympic silver medalist Jenny Screen. Really looking forward to this one.
I am. I mean, the party-pooping Perth team. That's a nice analogy, but the Caps don't win 9 WNBL championships without wanting to get redemption tonight. You know, even though it was Kelly's 400th, which is pretty amazing in itself, to be able to do that with the caliber of talent that has been in this league, and she's bound to do it consistently for so long, still averaging 33 minutes this season alone. They'll be looking to get the win on the board tonight against the Perth Lynx.
31 points in the first quarter, the Perth Lynx against the UC Capitals in that game just 5 days ago. The lead got out to 26 points at one point, and for a milestone game, you know that you feel those big losses even more keenly when you're trying to honour a legend of the game.
Oh, absolutely, and UC Caps would have felt that, and no doubt it'll be a different lineup tonight. You've got to remember Brittany Smart, she exited the game. They lost a pretty big punch from the three-point line in her when she decided to get a tech and an unsportsmanlike. So no doubt there'll be a different lineup, different team. They now know Perth Lynx a little bit better. That was their first game against them on Friday. So they'll make adjustments. They're led very well by obviously Kennedy Kariyama, and then obviously Paul Goris in the background as well until he returns to take the reins. So this one I think is going to be exciting.
Let's have a look at the ladder. It's hard to get a gauge on it at the moment. We've had so many games having to be cancelled due to COVID. But I think as we get the season back underway, we're going to start to see some teams separate from the pack. And for you, is there a few that you've earmarked to say, yeah, from what I've seen so far, I know that these are some teams that are going to go deep?
Oh, I think Perth, I mean, they're sitting 7th. I'm pretty sure they're 2-2, not 1-0 for the season right now, and I think they're going to be in the top 4 automatically. UC Caps will probably be around the mark. I think it'll be a little bit more struggle for them, but, you know, you'll probably see the likes of the Purple Melbourne Boomers as well.
This starting lineup is just star-studded. You know you've got depth when you've got an Opal squad member coming off the bench, but it's been a big week for Darcy Garvin and Sammy Whitcomb, both named in the team that's going to take on Serbia in the Opal's first qualifiers for the upcoming World Cup, which we're going to see in Australia later on this year in March. But that's a very, very potent starting 5.
It is, and the 3 Americans they've recruited are absolutely stellar class. We know that Marina Mabry, she was a headache for them in last week. She's been a headache for every team she's played this season. She was round 7 player of the week last week in the competition, and then they've got some punch off the bench. We know Alex Sharp is coming of age as a player for Perth and from Perth, and Chiva Tony, she had a little bit there as well for them. So it'll be an interesting one, but if the Cats can lock down a little bit better defensively, I think this one will go down to the wire.
The Boomers obviously had put into a fair bit of work to Marina Mabry. They restricted her to 10 points before she got fouled out in that loss to the Boomers. So I wonder if there's any learnings for UC to take out as we look at their starting lineup as well. And they've got the experience, they've got the youth, they seem to have all the pieces that you would want them to have to go deep into the season.
And that's a nice punch off the bench when you look at Jade Melbourne, who's just got her first call up to the obviously the Australian squad, the youngest one, 19-year-old, and then Talia Tupaia as well. She's been in the league a while, has fought injuries for probably the best part of 4 to 5 years. But when you got those two coming off the bench, it's a pretty nice comfort for a coach that you can put them in and they can have an impact as well.
So we've got the #1 scoring team, average points per game in Perth, and the #1 average rebound per game up against the #1 steals per game and blocks per game side in the UC Capitals. So we're going to see, as we did just 5 days ago. Contrasting styles in the way they like to go about it, Jenny.
Absolutely, and you've also got to remember that UC Caps absolutely dominate on turnovers. Points off turnovers, they're on average, I think, around 19.5 per game. So Perth Lynx have got to want to look after the ball. Hopefully the UC Caps can turn up the volume on their defense to get some of those points off turnovers, and then we'll have a match.
It'll be Lauren Scherf having a very, very good year. Beats Kelsey Griffin for the first tip, and we are underway in Ballarat. Jackie Young, the Notre Dame guard. Whitcomb straight away, the find to Scherf, and the bucket as well. A little bit too easy to open up their account. Wilson quickly to Sykes, #1 stealer in the competition. Kayla Roof. KG23 makes a strong move to the bucket, can't finish, and Scherf the rebound. She only had 2 first-half points in that game 5 days ago. There's a nice find from Mabry. Young can't get the finish underneath. They leave a couple out there. But automatically, Perth looking to stretch the floor, Jenny Screen.
Yeah, they're really good at running the floor and obviously getting into their pace game. The first 7 seconds, we see a nice little curl cut there from Brittany Sykes. She's actually been a really good recruit for them, dominating, you know, averaging 35 minutes a game and obviously in double figures in points. But defensively, these girls have got to be a little bit better in order to keep their punch alive in this one.
Young, the offensive rebound, and thrown away. There's Sykes again, getting the steal. Don't often see Marina Mabry mishandle the ball. She's averaging just under 3.5 steals per game. Brittany Sykes, the winningest player in Syracuse University history. Mabry now to make up for a little turnaround jumper in the lane is good for her opening points. Seems to know where the ball's going before the ball does.
Yeah.
Brittany Sykes. And that's a partnership that we've enjoyed for many, many games. Wilson to KG23. Mabry to a Notre Dame teammate. Jackie Young pulls up from the elbow, no good. Wilson will run the floor. Sammy Whitcomb goes to guard her. There's some experience. And as we don't often say about Mabry mishandling the ball, we definitely do not say it about Wilson. Here is Mabry from the deep. Can't get the 3. Young, another offensive board. The putback no good. Scherf there. Consecutive offensive rebounds. Make that 3 offensive rebounds in a row. The finish and the foul for Scherf. Those are coach killers. Jenny Screen, 3 in a row offensive rebounds for Perth.
Yeah, that's something Scherf's done really well this season in their short start to, you know, the 2022 calendar. Is she's been rebounding really well. She's almost averaging a double-double. I'd love to see her finish a bit better. I'm probably a little bit overcritical sometimes of Lauren Scherf. She is, you know, shooting at 53% from the field, but it's just those little sitters that you want to see her finish. But a good start to the game for her.
And she gives Perth a 1-point lead, 7-6. 5th in the league for rebounds this year. It's Lauren Scherf, and actually shooting the 3 ball at 66%. Sykes, that was the 3-point shooting they were hoping that Britt Smart could reintroduce after fouling out in the game against the Lynx 5 days ago. Can't get this one. They'll get another chance here. Strong move, Garvin, and a beautiful find again from Whitcomb. Elite vision, and a strong finish from Garvin, who's having a really good year.
A little bit of deja vu there. We saw that in the first or second play of the game for the Perth Lynx. That mid-pick and roll just seems to be hurting the UC Caps. They might want to tidy up how they're looking to defend that.
Sykes can't get it to Roof. Perth throw it away again. Wilson, does she pull up the 3? Smart will, and Smart will drain it from the corner. All square in Ballarat, 9 apiece.
And that's why you recruit Brittany Smart, because that's what she can do. She's really good at looking after her body, making sure she stays fit and ready to go. And it was a big loss not having her on Friday night, as we see Young give away an offensive foul there. But if Brittany Smart can do that consistently for this game and create space by knocking down those 3s, then it opens up opportunities for the likes of Alicia Froling and Kelsey Griffin to take the likes of Lauren Scherf and Darcy Garvin off the floor.
She's now equal first in the comp for three-pointers made this year is Britt Smart, up to 12 with Lindsay Allen from the Boomers and Darcy Garvin from this Perth side. Wilson to Sykes. Sharp's checked into the game, is guarding her, gets the step on her and on Garvin as well. And a smooth
Yeah, you beat me to
finish.
it. Smooth, athletic prowess. It didn't look fancy, but it was, you know, I think underrated how easy she made that look.
Mabry gives it up to Whitcomb, two-time WNBA champion. Give and go with Mabry, confronted by a couple of Capitals, and another offensive board, this time Sharp, out to Garvin, nothing but net. Outright leader, three-pointers made this year is Darcy Garvin. Wilson slicing into the lane. She finishes. Going at a really nice pace at the moment this game. Throwing a lot of punches, both teams. Whitcomb just lost the handle, being able to regather. Scherf has Sharp. She draws the foul and will go to the line.
Recognition there of the youngster who's found herself into the starting lineup for this game is Alex Sharp, going up against the smaller guard, but no doubt tough guard in Kelly Wilson, the 400 gamer of our league, and getting herself to the foul line.
Third all-time assist to Kelly Wilson, four-time champion. It's a storied career and doesn't show any signs of slowing up.
No, I know. It's a credit to her in terms of her hard work, her commitment, her persistence, and her desire to just want to compete week in, week out. And she'd be a credit to have for the UC Caps, and especially for the younger girls, of what it's like to be a complete professional in this league.
And for Jade Melbourne to, you know, a guard on the rise, to have that tutelage. Another foul off the ball. 13 apiece, so this is a much better start for the Capitals. Perth were able to put 31 points on the board in the first quarter of the game they last played. So from the restart, Griffin to Payet just checked in. And he spoke about her earlier on, and that depth off the bench. Britt Smart doesn't take the three, but will settle for the two with a slicing drive.
Nice finish there. The Perth Lynx went into a zone off that baseline out of bounds. It was good composure there by the UC Caps just to not take the easy option in the three and penetrate and get themselves to the rim.
Isenbarger into the game. The long-range two from Mabry is no good. Isenbarger's putback won't go, and Sykes will come away with it for the Capitals. Stretching the floor. Get it back from Tapia. Britt Sykes. And then again, pull up from just outside the line. You can't leave a player of that ability alone to make that shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the scout is on that, but I'm pretty sure Darcy Garvin shouldn't be in drops action or hanging off that low, especially when you've got someone like Mabry coming off the pick and roll in that action. It's just too easy.
So well known for her defensive work, was all WNBA defensive team, the #1 for steals. But is very, very accomplished offensively too, Britt Sykes, and certainly was in her university days.
Yeah, apologies, it was Britt Sykes, not Mabry, that did actually take that pick and roll action. As we see Perth Lynx coming up with another rebound offensively, fourth for the game.
Young, Isenbarger, Garvin, just so confident now to pull the trigger on that three. This one won't go, and Chibatoni gets entangled with Sykes, and she's slow to get up.
Foul called on number 8 for the Lynx, Alex Chibatoni. That's her first personal foul, third team foul for Lynx.
It actually seemed that Sykes just got herself tangled up rather than any contact. It looked like the contact was after Sykes was starting to fall, Jenny.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, either way, I think that would have really hurt. Just on the replay there, the way she landed on that wrist didn't look nice at all. And hopefully she's okay and can shake it off. She might need a rest and be able to check out if it is okay. And it's nice to see that Chibatoni, you know, the teammate Ship just checking that she is all right, because you don't want to lose a player of her caliber, especially that since the Caps have had such a good start to this first quarter.
She's got 8 points on the board too to lead all comers. 5 for Garvin and Scherf from the Lynx, and Britt Smart has 5 as well. kick back out. Jade Melbourne into the game. Button gave it to her and is going to get it back. No. They were hip to that scene that Kelly Wilson was trying to set up. The Lynx, they're going to come away with it sharp. Shibatoni. Oh, the audacity of Garvin and the finish over Bunton.
Brave. Very brave. They're not shooting that great a clip from the three-point line thus far in the first quarter, but we know that that's what Darcy Garvin does well. She does drain the long three, and a nice little jab step there, hand down, player down, and she launches one.
Crossover from Melbourne to get past Young was quite sublime, and Isenbarger fighting hard to get that ball to Shibatoni. Young, the step back. Maybe out of respect for Kelly Wilson, didn't take that shot. Threads the needle on the pass to Garvin. Gets the two and the foul.
Again, that mid-pick and roll, she actually slipped that in terms of the action, but a nice little curl cut action that allowed her to find her way to that bucket, and a nice little feed and find as well from the Perth Lynx.
Up to 10 points now for Darcy Garvin, showing exactly why she's been picked to represent the Opals against Serbia in their upcoming matches. Oh, rattles that one out. And they've left one out there. Their free throw shooting was a major problem, according to Coach Ryan Petrick, in that loss to the Boomers, Jenny.
Yeah, it is indeed. They're not shooting from a great clip. I mean, they've only played 4 games, so it's really hard to look at statistics and, you know, be too critical of any team right now in terms of what they're doing well. But, you know, foul shooting is something that should come easy, and most teams you would hope are shooting around the 75 to 80% for the season, and Perth Lynx are down on that at around 55, 60%.
Hesitation steps from Young to draw 2, and Isenbarger buries one from long range.
As soon as I say they're not shooting great from the three-point line, then they drain 2 almost back-to-back threes and punch ahead just a little bit as we edge closer towards the end of this first quarter.
Wilson Froling on the turnaround on the left hand is a nice finish in the paint. Now Young. Jade Melbourne is a terrier on defence. Garvin as well is absolutely feeling it. Just can't get the finish, and another offensive rebound. We'll get those numbers in a minute, but 2-point lead. A minute 50 on the clock in the tightly held first quarter as Shibatoni backs in and can't finish. Sharp, another offensive rebound. Garvin to make it really hurt, yes. Up to 13 points now for Darcy Garvin. Biggest lead so far, 5 points. Melbourne tries to get it back to 2. Wilson offensive glass and just read the defence so well, just couldn't finish on the left hand. Tony had support. Isenbarger can't get the kiss off the window. Melbourne didn't like the shot that was there for her in the corner. Young gets right up in the grill of Kelly Wilson. Screen comes from Froling. Tapaya tries to force Sharp back. Big lunge inside, draws the foul. Can't get the bucket, but will go to the line.
Great job there by Talia Tapaya to find a way. There wasn't much on, and I thought Alex did a great job on those first 2 slides. Just didn't hold her ground and got out-muscled, shall we say, from Tapaya, who finds herself on the foul line. Right now, Perth, the only reason they're up is they've got 9 offensive rebounds. And off those, 3 of them have drained. Darcy Garvin has been able to, along with Alex Sharp, who's had 3 offensive rebounds herself, but Garvin has just drained the 3 off those offensive rebounds. So that's the clean-up right now that the UC Caps have to look at the quarter-time break.
So Tapaya gets it back to within 3 points. 42 seconds left. Taya Burrows in for her first minutes. Another 3. This time from Emma Clark. 6-point lead now is the biggest of the game for Perth. Sykes again able to penetrate the key. Can't get the finish, but Froling can get the rebound. And Tapaya will get them another 12 seconds. defence, has to settle for the fall-away jumper and gets a kind bounce.
I don't mind that. The way that Perth are playing that pick and roll, they're kind of dropping back a little bit, tempting them to want to hit that mid-range, and it was a nice recognition there from Talia Tukaya, but wow, what a quarter from Perth. They're draining it from deep. They're getting on the offensive glass. It's nice to watch.
It certainly is. 27-23. They are showing why they are the most potent scoring team in the competition. Perth Lynx with a 4-point lead as we turn in to the first quarter break. Big second quarter up on the other side of this. 27-23 Perth over the UC Capitals.
To everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. And do we dunk? Hell yeah. When we roll onto the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
Just the final stages of Kennedy Kiriyama addressing this UC Capitals lineup that trails the Perth Lynx by 4 points. As we get set to start the second quarter, Sam Hargraves, Jenny Scream with you. Jenny, it was really tightly held for probably the first half of that first quarter. Then Perth just were able to flex their offensive muscle and they opened up that 4-point lead. Got out to 6 at one point.
But that just came through the possessions. I'm pretty sure had we have listened into Kennedy right then, he would have talked about the possession game. 9 offensive rebounds is just not good enough at this level. The ability to box out, they have the athleticism and the desire to want to do that. They've got to be better in that category. They're giving away too many extra shots and second opportunities to Perth. And let's face it, they're too damn good from anywhere in terms of whether it's, you know, draining the long three or finding their way into the paint, that they can't get those second shot opportunities.
Well, the Bendigo Spirit averaged 12.5 offensive rebounds a game to be number 1 in the competition. Perth have already got 9 on the board, so that is massive. Jade Melbourne can't bury the 3 to open up the Capitals account. Whitcomb, Clark stays in the game, finished out the first quarter, lost control, and Brittany Sykes. Ooh, nice little find. And
No. I was like, oh, she took a few steps and a carry, I thought she went for a little bit of a dance there as she was finding her way into the middle of the paint. One thing I will say about Perth Lynx, though, is that I'm loving that they're going into their rotations. Obviously, we know this is their 4th game in 7 days, so they're going to have to be able to use their bench. And in that first quarter, we saw quite a few of those girls get a few minutes early on.
what does it do to those players to know that the coach has the faith to put them in with the game still in the balance?
Well, it just solidifies a little bit of confidence as a player that you know that your coach is trusting you. But I also think in the first quarter, you're not going to win or lose a game. And a couple of minutes here or there that you give to a player which may allow a rest to either a Sammy Whitcomb type or Marina Mabry's. We see nice Jade Melbourne finally hitting one from deep as she's had a few early on in this first and second quarter. But it allows those players that are elite, like Young right there, to have a breather, to find their momentum again and then come back and have some impact.
So 3-point lead to Paya. Fantastic find in the corner for Melbourne, and now Griffin on the 45 gets her first triple and the scores are level.
I don't know, but I think this court is really good for shooters. I mean, I've watched a couple of games now in Ballarat, and both teams, you know, whenever we've watched, both teams are shooting at a pretty good clip. Must be a nice venue for if you're a shooter, shall we say.
Young little head fake, and the needle threaded to her former Notre Dame teammate, and Mabry can't finish. You see her throw her head back. Melbourne into the lane and draws the foul. Gardner the offender. Mabry just with 2 points, averaging 22 for the year. UC have started this quarter with intent, Jenny Screen.
They have, and I think that's just the pick and roll action. We spoke about it in the first quarter. I think that's the, you know, if I was the coach of Perth, that's somewhere that they have to clean up. I think UC are having their way on the pick and roll at the moment offensively, and nice to see Jade Melbourne attacking it hard, and she's only going to go from strength to strength this season as she gets more and more opportunity.
As an elite guard yourself, what do you like about her game?
I like her tenacity. I like her bravery. You know, for someone her age, and I also like that she just enjoys the game.
Yep.
She looks like she's just having fun, whether she's on the court, whether she's on the bench, she's waving the towel, she's doing the hand actions. She just looks like she loves the game of basketball.
It was her defensive work there that enabled the UC Capitals to get that steal, got a hand in. Griffin came away and there's a foul on Sykes, who took a really hard fall in the first quarter. Seemed to be clutching her wrist of that arm that she just fell on then.
Yeah, we can see a little bit of tape there. I think Scherf was a little bit hard done by. I saw a nice little hook from Sykes, but obviously the referee didn't. But we see a nice little baseline out of bounds here. Interesting to see if Perth would drop back into a zone.
Capitals with their first lead of this game. Griffin now to Tapaya, forces her way adjacent to the key and draws another foul, and Whitcomb incredulous.
Again, just great composure from the UC Caps. We saw Perth Lynx drop into that 2-3 zone off the inbound and just found their ways, again, through simple, easy penetration. Probably, you know, a little bit hard done by Sammy Whitcomb there in terms of the foul, but we go with what the referees call, and we see UC Caps at the foul line.
Payer at the stripe, that's a little short.
You know, Talia's been in this league a long time now. You know, she's still young though, has battled her injury. This is her first game back since a shoulder injury that she's endured. As we see UC Caps come up with an offensive rebound.
Can Smart get the three? Yes, she can. 13 three-pointers for the year for Brittany Smart. And they get their biggest lead of the game. Canberra up by 5. Mabry forces her way inside and gets the finish. Didn't get the foul though, much to her displeasure. Kayla Roof just left alone, just alongside the elbow, knocks down the 2. Now they're starting to find some cohesion offensively, the Capitals. Biggest lead of the game is 7. Would have been 7, but that's not the margin. Jenny, how's my maths going? 36 to 31.
Hey, don't talk to me about maths, I'm shocking. But what I can tell you right now is we've got a high-scoring, prolific game on our hands here. We're almost, you know, as we see Brittany Smart knocking down another 3, causing Perth Lynx to call a timeout. But UC Caps are on 40 points. Reminding you, last Friday, they hit 18 for the first quarter. They're about to hit 40, so we know what they're capable of. But defensively, it's like, where is either team? 31 to 39 here with still almost just under 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. We could be heading for a 100-plus ball game.
Well, Perth were up by 4 points at the quarter-time break. There's 6:45 left in the second. Now they trail by 8. So Capitals are dominating proceedings at the moment in Ballarat. Leading point scorer for them, Britt Smart, has 11 points. Brittany Sykes has 8. And for the Perth Lynx, Darcy Garvin had a fast start, 13 points for her, but it falls away pretty drastically after that. Lauren Scherf, the next best, with 5, and Mabry still sitting on 4 points, 2 of 5 shooting. It looks like they've done their scout a lot better on Marina Mabry.
I mean, she hasn't had the opportunity to get the ball in hand as much. She's probably missed a few sitters that she normally is accustomed to making. Hasn't had the look from the 3-point line that we normally see as well. But you've got to love UC Caps. I mean, they scored 23 points in the first quarter, and they've come out now and they've hit 16 points in less than 14 minutes. Perth have got to step up and you know, have a look in the mirror and hold each other accountable a little bit more defensively in order to keep this one close.
After that 19-point loss in Kelly Wilson's 400th, would there have been many of the players that would have been able to look her in the eye after the game? Is it felt that keenly?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they still would have shared in the moment. I mean, No one's going to remember whether she won or lost on her 400th game, let's be honest. And they're just going to remember that Kelly Wilson is the #1 record holder for most games played and at 400. And that in itself is an amazing achievement considering we know who is in that top 10 of athletes that have done that.
Roof blocked Whitcomb, but Scherf was there to clean up. With Smart being really tightly worn by Sammy Whitcomb. She's done some damage, 3 of 4 from long range. Wilson's been shooting the 3 ball pretty well this year. Can't get that one to go, and Darcy Garvin gets the rebound. Six-point Canberra lead. Whitcomb, nice crossover on Smart. Then a hesitation step, gets the foul, not the finish, but will go to the line. Just a little experience on display there from Sammy Whitcomb.
Yeah, nice little hesitation in her right hand there. She just takes Brittany Smart to the bucket. Let's talk about Sammy. I mean, it was a nice signing, as you said, you know, a Christmas present to Perth, as we say, but she hasn't found her straps yet, I don't think, in this team, where she fits. You know, this is only her second look at the bucket for tonight's game, and we're at 15 minutes into the contest. That's not good enough, I think, for the Perth Lynx. But, you know, maybe she doesn't have to have that scoring prowess, but she's only averaging 11 points per game. But when you got the punch of Mabry and then the depth of Scherf and what she attracts inside, maybe that's where she's going to sit. But I still think we're going to see a lot more from Sammy as the season goes on.
Over her WNBL history, she's got the second best points per game average behind Lauren Jackson. So she averages 20 points a game. And see Sykes pull up from the stripe, and Scherf gets the rebound. Looking for the fast break. Mabry got a kind bounce, but Sykes again, just elite defensively. Almost got barged out of the way by Scherf, which opens the door for Mabry.
2 points.
Now, was it called 2 or was it 3 there, Jenny Screen? I just couldn't quite tell if she had a foot on the line.
I believe it was a 3 from my eyesight.
Smart answers back very smartly.
Draining another one. 3 from 4, I think, deep is Brittany Smart for the game. And you can tell that's what they missed last Friday from her. You know, Kennedy Kariyama spoke about it post-match, about losing Brittany Smart and what she brings to the game. But now, because defensively Perth Lynx are attracted to her, they have to mark her, they have to give her accountability from beyond the 3, and now allows spacing. And what we probably will see is a lack of Sykes and Griffin being able to put the ball on the floor and take players one-on-one and get themselves to the rim.
It was officially ruled a 2-pointer from Mabry. So
there you go.
5-point lead to UC. I'm interested with the Sammy Whitcomb conversation. They would have signed Marina Mabry not knowing whether they were going to get Sammy Whitcomb. Now, is it too basic for me to say that they're quite similar players, Mabry and Whitcomb, or is there enough difference between them that it can work with them on the floor at the same time?
I'm pretty sure any coach would have both of them on their team, regardless how similar they are. I think Sammy gives you a bit more composure. She's a bit more point guard orientated. She can bring the ball up the court, as we see Mabry join and drain another 3. She is in the zone right now and trying to regroup and claw back that scoreline, as we see Sykes just from one American to another to another. I mean, we talked about it before the game, didn't we? How good the caliber of signings that we have in terms of imports this year has just been spectacular to watch.
Mabry thought about the 3. Roof shut that down, which gave Scherf the opportunity. Couldn't get the first one. Will mop up and get the second.
Scherf is trying to get that double-double tonight, girlfriend. She's had a few easy misses, but nice to see her cleaning up her own boards and getting those putbacks.
Timeout called. It's a 2-point game now, so Capitals jumped out of the blocks to start the second quarter. They went on a bit of a run. They went from trailing by 4 to up by 7. Then Mabry, just a step back, the hubris to even take that shot on site.
That's just tough. Like, I'm looking at Sykes going, well, that was pretty good defense, you know. She didn't go over the screen. She had a hand to the shot. That's just better offense. She can't do much about it.
13 points now has Darcy Garvin, but Mabry now is up to 9 along with Lauren Scherf. So Mabry averaging 22 for the year. Started out against your old mob. 30 bucket for her was a great way to announce herself onto the WNBL stage.
Oh, it was a phenomenal game. I watched that one at home.
One of the best debuts from an import that you've seen?
Oh, hands down, that I can remember, absolutely. I thought it was impressive, especially in the context of the way some of the shots came down the stretch when they were almost, you know, to me, they should have won that game. But that 4-point play, and I think she had 8 points in the last minute and a half. exceptional. Like, it got me out of my seat. I think I squealed at some point at the TV as I was watching, and it's nice to see that Perth are a dominant force. They were a dominant force back in the 90s. They had, you know, a really tough, dry patch there for about 7 years or so.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see them back and putting teams, you know, on the line in terms of taking wins away from them and potentially being a championship contender this year.
Sykes, who now plays with LA. Nice find, Griffin. Couldn't get it to Bunton. Goes back and finds it and finishes. So they actually never played together, did Brittany Sykes and Marina Mabry. Missed each other by a year at LA. Marina now with Dallas. Jackie Young finds a path through and finishes. It's going toe-to-toe at the moment. 2-point lead to UC. Britt Smart has 4 3-pointers in this game. The no-look give to Griffin is good and gets the kind bounce. High-quality game that we're seeing at the moment, Jenny Screen.
Yeah, I mean, Griffin's got 9 points to her name, but you haven't really noticed her, you know, which is the exciting part for the UC Caps. It's been more Sykes and Smart that you feel like you've been noticing more, but as always, Griffin is just doing what Griffin does and just filling up the stat sheet.
Scherf cleaning up her own mess again. Mabry left all alone, leaves that one a little short. Now that's going to be a Perth ball that came off Wilson. Desperate to try and find someone with the almost acrobatic save over the line. It's good defence from Alex Bunton, but Scherf will be disappointed. You've picked it a couple of times, Jenny, that she's getting her offensive board, but you'd prefer her to get the first one rather than have to, you know, make up for it with the second.
And I think that's the difference between Lauren Scherf being a good player, and she is right now, and her going to the next level and being a great player and potentially pushing and punching and forcing Sandy Brondello's hand and potentially making that green and gold. She has to be reliable from inside the paint with her finishes, and I only hope and I implore her, as we see Darcy Garvin fine-tuning what she's going to probably do in a couple of weeks' time when we see her put on the green and gold, but that's the difference for me for Lauren Scherf. Can she just be reliable enough and put those buckets to bed that she should be able to do week in, week out?
Sykes can't answer at the other end. Shibatoni runs the floor, looks left, looks right. Garvin, Sykes won't let her in this time, and the help came from Griffin. Got a little hand in and gets it back now. Chapaya sizes up her options, finds a way in. She likes that, to penetrate mid-key and then come back to the line to shoot. They work it into Bunton, who went from right to left. Couldn't get the bucket. Sharp. Back into the game. Shibatoni. Darcy Garvin, step back. Bunton, a little long on that one. Tapaya brings the Capitals down the floor. Melbourne got the screen, but Chimatoni wouldn't be denied. Nice inbound, and what about the sublime spin cycle move of Bunton? That's a wonderful finish on the left hand.
That was a beautiful finish on the left hand. Nice little poise, play, spin action. Nice to see Alex Bunton contributing after she's had some time away, obviously, you know, with injury and giving birth to her daughter Opal, and it's really nice to see her back in the UC Caps uniform.
Where do you think she got the inspiration for the name Opal?
Well, you know, trying to make that team was a pretty important tick box for Alex for a very long time, and she finally got that opportunity after, you know, years and years, and I think she had almost, don't quote me, I think 9 surgeries on her knee, maybe probably even more, but it's a credit to her and where she is in her life, that she's been able to, you know, get everything in order and come back and be a, you know, hopefully a great contributor for the UC Caps this year.
Jade Melbourne horseshoeing around, and just as she was about to pull the trigger, loses the handle. Good defence from Mabry. Young, just a little fumbling. Back to Mabry now. Crossover work on Froling. The step back, was there a little hand on that from Froling? Melbourne quickly back to Froling. Double team now and draws the foul.
Hey, that was great by Froling. Like, I'm pretty sure on the scout for Mabry, she loves to have the handle. She likes to put the ball on the floor, but she also loves to step back. So great job there from Alicia Froling to be able to carry a hand and be able to deflect that if that's what she did. And then nice to see her on the the offensive end being a threat as well.
And a timeout call.
Likes that isolation ball situation, Marina Maybury, doesn't she? As we see a timeout call. But it's interesting, her demeanour is something that I've been really impressed with. When she misses, she doesn't hesitate to be able to want to take the shot again. She doesn't go into her shell. At the last game against the Capitals, she copped a fair bit of booing throughout the game, and I noticed her laugh it off. She was like, I don't really know what that's for, but fine, you do it. It didn't rattle her in any way, shape or form.
Oh, well, that's just because she's good. And,
Yep.
and in Australia, we have what's called the tall poppy syndrome. So, you know, we want to try and rattle people as what we can. And you see Cats, you know, that was probably at home on the UC Hip Splats floor, and they've got a great crowd, and they bring a lot of energy, and it's tough to play there. But credit to her and the way she goes about her business, nothing seems to fluster her.
She left Notre Dame University. Jackie Young, her teammate at the Lynx, was her teammate there. They won a championship together in 2018, but she was their all-time leader for three-pointers made. It was Marina Maybury. So 3-point lead to Canberra. A minute 03 left in this first half. They've certainly been the better side of the second quarter as we get set to restart after the timeout. It'll be Britt Smart to inbound. Having a very good game, 4 of 5 from long range for her with 14 points to lead the Capitals. Emily Garvin has more points. She won't add to her tally there. Crashing the boards as Whitcomb came from about 3 rows back. Offensive foul on Sammy Whitcomb. Jade Melbourne knew the call straight away. The thing about Jade Melbourne that stands out to me too is whenever there's a big name opponent that she's directly matched up with, she seems to go to another level with the defensive work. She seems to almost relish the opportunity to take down a big name player.
Yeah, and I love that about her. That's the bravery that I was talking about when you asked me what's so good about Jade Melbourne is she's not afraid. And she almost looks fear in the eye and goes, I'm going to get this done, or at least I'm going to try. And when you try like she does, you're only going to get better.
Scramble underneath after the Britt Smart miss. Maybury showing the handles again. Takes Melbourne to the right-hand side. The avenue was shut down. Whitcomb draws contact from Tapia. Won't be going to the line on that one.
I think
stung a little.
Yeah, Sammy just went, wow. Felt like she probably ran into a brick wall with Talia Tupea. There, you know, a little bit of size difference in terms of the two guards there as she took one to the shoulder.
Jackie Young, 4 points for her. Has the 4 assists though as well. Maybury double team, somehow lost both. Knew that Scherf was right where she needed to be, and Scherf leaves another couple out there. That would have put him back within 1. Now last possession will go to Canberra. 3-point lead, Melbourne baseline, block from Maybury. No foul called, and that'll do us for a very entertaining and high-scoring first half of WNBL action. The 4th place Lynx at their home away from home at Ballarat, taking on the UC Capitals, 3rd on the ladder, and it's the Capitals who were down by 4 points at quarter time. They go in at the half with a 3-point lead, and if this is the standard that's been set in the first half, we cannot wait for the second. It's up after this.
We're thinking of grabbing a bite tonight. Any new places close by?
Well, actually... so.
Oh,
I think 20's enough.
yeah, that should do us.
Some beautiful shots of some of the magnificent places that you can visit in the fine state of Victoria. Make sure you do so. Tourism is the lifeblood of so many of the towns around regional Victoria. Half-time at Ballarat, Perth Lynx, UC Capitals. It's a 3-point lead to the Capitals. They trailed by 4 at quarter time, and then a 20-27 second quarter sees them up by 3 points at the main break. Aussie Hoops is basketball's national junior participation program, introducing kids aged 5 to 10 years old to basketball. They learn and improve their fundamental movement skills, as well as the basics of teamwork and cooperation, which will benefit them both on and off the court. More importantly, they have fun and they make friends. The success of the Aussie Hoops program can be easily measured on the smiles of more than 100,000 kids that do the program each and every year, and it gives them the basis to progress into basketball competitions. To find where your kids can start a lifelong enjoyment of basketball, visit the Aussie Hoops locator. It's going to be found at aussiehoops.basketball/find a program. Registrations for Term 1 programs are now open, and Jenny Screen, that is something that we couldn't recommend any more highly than we do that particular Aussie Hoops program. No,
it's a great program, and I'm sure there's multiple players across the league that started in that program and would have photos with stars that they idolised and looked up to, and now they've become those players. So I can't encourage young players enough, or parents that are watching tonight and enjoying this stellar performance from both the Perth and UC Caps to get their kids in the great game of basketball.
Interesting that after the loss a couple of nights ago to the Melbourne Boomers, Coach Ryan Petrick said about the Lynx that they had a 47-point first half and 12 assists in that first half. But then the second half, they only had 30 points and just 5 assists. So he really lamented their lack of ball movement. I wonder if it's been addressed at half-time for them. They've got 47 points at the half. They've got 11 assists. How are you seeing the second quarter for the Perth Lynx, and what did you make of the Capitals' output?
I don't think the ball movement has been a factor for the Perth Lynx. To have 47 points, ball movement has not been an issue at all. For me, they haven't capitalised on those 13 offensive rebounds. They had 11 in the first quarter, and then they had another 4 in the second, but they're only shooting 39%. Now, 39% would be pretty happy from the field, but when both teams are shooting, like UC Cap, 64% from the field and 55% from the 3, you've got to be, rewarding yourself with those offensive rebounds and those second efforts.
We're back underway. Young finds Garvin, levels the scores straight away with another 3 from Darcy Garvin. That's her 6th. I reckon that's her 5th, up to 19 points now for her.
And she only had 15 and 6 last time that they met Friday night. And starting where she finished the first and second quarter with another 3. Sublime performance thus far.
Baseline jumper from Roof, got the unkind rattle out. So Garvin now outright leader in 3-pointers made this year. As Mabry looks to post up on Smart, who's second, and Mabry gets called for the travel. Elite defence from Britt Smart.
Pretty good. I mean, we've seen Mabry do that in the 4 games. Not only does she have the ability to drain it from deep or take it off the dribble, she loves to use her size as a bigger guard and take smaller guards into the post, and we've seen that. So great job there from Britt Smart, who's having a stellar performance. She normally averages 8 points a game, and she's already on the table with 14 for this one.
Griffin from long range can't connect, and Whitcomb is going to try to get this defence from the Capitals on the back foot. Garvin thought about it. It's it to the Olympic gold medalist in Young, who got the foul and the bucket.
That's what you call composure and poise. I'm going to give credit to Lauren Scherf there, because she ran the floor hard and fast, and she took everyone with her. You see, with both hands up, she clogged. Everyone went to her. That allowed that kick and that elbow catch from Young, and that nice little athletic rip drive to her left.
6 points now for Young, 2019 All-WNBA rookie team. Comes really highly credentialed, but has probably taken a Robin role to Mabry's Batman in terms of imports, and how we see Capitals cough it up. Mabry almost tripped over, but had the composure to find Scherf coming on the trail, and she finishes. And they have jumped the Capitals to start this 3rd quarter. Perth, they've gone on a 9-0 run to start it off, and a timeout called.
Yeah, I agree with you there in terms of the comment about Young. I think that's the position she's going to have to be comfortable with, is taking that second fiddle position. There'll be nights where she'll dominate and lead the point scoring, but there'll be other times where she'll have to be the facilitator. I feel like she's getting more comfortable now in her role with the Perth Lynx, and she'll just go from strength to strength as the season goes on, which makes them even tougher to defend.
It must be a lot of fun, and as I'm sure it is for the UC Capitals as well. Kelly Wilson obviously does that for them, and they've got Jade Melbourne. But when you've got essentially 3 players that can play the point guard position in Whitcomb, Young and Mabry, they can run all kinds of offences, Perth.
Oh, absolutely. Their ability to push the ball is just exceptional. And then you've got Alex Sharp, who's great on the rebounding point of view as well, and she can get it and push it as well as a 3 type, and you know, then that gives them looks. And we've seen that through the likes of Garvin in tonight's game, whether it be Mabry on the wing. They get those early opportunities, as we see Mabry just a little bit frustrated there coming out of the timeout. But you gotta love that tenacity about her, and she seems to get a little bit hot under the collar sometimes.
Was that would that have been a way to sum up you in your playing days?
No, that would have been me defending her and annoying the crap out of her to actually, you know, pee her off, shall we say, and frustrate her. That would have given me great joy. But no, she's a great talent in this league, and I'm not sure I could defend her.
Good smart. Kayla Roof draws the foul. Will go to the line, so a chance to get their opening points of this third quarter. Almost 2 minutes played, and yet to add to their halftime tally of 50 are the Capitals. So Kayla Roof, not known for a foul shooting career, percentage of 66.9 coming into this season. Such a versatile player, though, is Michaela Roof's gent.
Yeah, she has that versatility to play, you know, 4 or 5. She's just a blue-collar worker. She's not going to give you, you know, extreme points like KG 23 will or stuff, but she just knows what to do. She knows her role, and I'm sure the coaching staff feel very comfortable with her and what she can produce for them.
Young got it to Mabry, but she drew a crowd, was able to get it with the wraparound backdoor to Scherf, and again, we've said it a few times, Lauren Scherf, the put-up and the miss. Smart, nice hesitation, just allowed Griffin to come through, but she couldn't finish either. Just waited on handing that off. Young, Garvin for 3. So confident in that shot now, and so she should.
And that's what you call in the zone. She would have no idea how many points she scored, how many 3s she's drained until the end of that game. And that's another one that's in that caliber as Brittany Spart. But Darcy Garvin right now is on another level for the Perth Lynx.
Up to 22 points. The round the back work from Garvin. The block from Roof. And now Griffin, they manufacture a 2-on-2. Griffin goes all the way at Scherf. Whitcomb gets the rebound and can't connect with Marina Mabry.
And a much-needed stoppage in play for the UC Caps. We've seen Perth come out in this third quarter and just dominate, 11 points to 2. They've had really good looks from deep. I encourage both teams to look at running each other off the 3-point line. Both teams are draining it, 9 of 18, 6 of 13 respectively. That's huge, 50% for Perth, 46 for UC Caps. They've got to get each other off that 3-point line and potentially force some penetration and contested shots rather than from the 3-point line.
Mabry trying a spectacular, trying to get the bullet pass through pretty much the whole Capitals defence. And there's that frustration showing again, as she's going to have a sit down and maybe a cool off.
Yeah, definitely a cool off. I mean, the last play down, she had penetration and frustrated that it wasn't called a foul. I mean, at the same time, though, she did go 1-on-3. And obviously didn't come off or pay off. And I think that's where teams are going to look to exploit her a little bit, is with her frustration and how heated she can get at times. And UC Caps have done a great job tonight. She's only got 9 points. We know she had 27 in their game on Friday, and we know that she's capable of, you know, dropping 11 in probably a couple of minutes. But credit to the UC Caps right now in this third quarter.
Yeah, it's an area they're having a win in. Leaders 5 points. So a bit of ill discipline from Maybury. Sykes just coughed it up. Chibatoni put Sykes up in the air. Knew exactly what she wanted to do there, and that's just textbook when you're on the fast break. Lead now 7. Melbourne threads at the roof and gives it back to Melbourne. Sykes from the stripe. Can't get that to go. Scherf the rebound. It'll be 9 for Lauren Scherf now, averaging 9.3 a game. Whitcomb steps in and finishes. Look for her to take over now with Maybury having a seat.
Tough, and that's only her 4th point for the game, her first field goal. She's had 1 3-point attempt in that first half and 2 from the foul line. And for them to be up by 9 right now, and Sammy Whitcomb's only got 4 points on the board, that's pretty big from Perth.
Ruth can't get the 3-pointer. And Young comes away with it for Perth. And Sammy Whitcomb had her best shooting year in the WNBA last year. He was averaging 46% from 3-point land as Scherf this time makes no mistake from underneath. Melbourne put Garvin up in the air, but couldn't get around her, so gives it up to Sykes, and she in turn to Wilson. 42.5%, not 46. Wilson, well, that's channeling Dirk Nowitzki. Griffin off the one step, and Roof was desperate. To Melbourne, Wilson, will Griffin go again? No. Sykes drew the body of one, but then ran into the brick wall of Scherf, who says no to this one, and she can't get the next one, Sykes. An 11-point lead is the biggest of the game that Perth have been able to get here. Capitals just 3 points in over a half of basketball, and Scherf continues to inflict pain in the paint.
She has 15 points.
Granted, caught it out to doing our job, but she is up to 15 points. 66 to 53. 19 to 3/4. Griffin with no other options. And just to throw up the low percentage, long range 2. And after looking so cohesive in the second quarter as Scherf loses it, they look anything but at the moment, Jenny, the Capitals.
Yeah, they do. They've just got to get a little bit more composure. They've had some great looks, and that's the thing. It's just on the defensive end, they're not getting the stops that they would like. As we see, nice penetration. Hard done by the Jade Melbourne not to get a foul there on the penetration, but that's the difference. UC Caps aren't making buckets, and Perth are draining it from everywhere.
Young couldn't get the step on Melbourne, such as her level of defence. Shivatoni leaves her 3 a little short. And Sykes is just going to slow this down. Just over 3.5 left in the quarter. Wilson, geez, that looked like maybe 1 step too many. When you played more games than anybody in the caper, you get the benefit of the doubt. Kelly Wilson. Griffin, again, another heave up in hope, but it rattles out. Roof again, offensive glass, worth its weight in gold. Sykes, the spin, thought about the step back, and what about the find to Griffin?
Nice little 2-man game there from the UC Cavs, but my credit right now goes to Roof. I mean, she's had some really good stoppages of play there, some deflections as we saw in that effort, but also her offensive rebound, and she's grinding it right now for her team, is Roof, and credit to her that she gets a nice little break here in the timeout. So hopefully the UC Caps can regroup and try and claw away at this 11-point deficit.
Griffin averaging 15 points for the year, had 15 the last time these two teams played on Friday night, but only had 2 in the first half. She's up to 11, and is she one that you'd look at from a Capitals point of view to say, okay, I reckon we can get more from you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's had some good looks. She's taken 9 shots. Sykes is the same. They've just got to get some better ball movement. I'd love to see Smart come back into the game. Even Tupea, she had some good minutes there in the first half. But for me, it's the defensive end. For Perth, they're draining too many threes. They're 9 of 19. Percentage has dropped a little bit, but they've got to start to run them off the 3-point line. They've only gone to the foul line 7 times. And I'd love to see them, and no one's in foul trouble, no one in this game. So I'd love to see, in this last 3 minutes, say, we are not letting Perth hit another 3, and they're not getting another offensive rebound.
Assists are 18 to 13 in favour of Perth. They've had 7 in this quarter alone. Turnovers 10 to 9 in favour of Canberra. 7 steals apiece for both teams. 5 blocks to 1 for the Caps. The offensive rebounds, though, that's probably the biggest stat of the game. 14 to 6 in favour of Perth, Jen.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a big difference. It's the possession game. And obviously we're seeing Perth knock down those second point opportunities. Now we want to see what UC are made of. They've been in this position before, and let's see if they can get a few consecutive stops together and close out this deficit that they're facing right now.
Scherf has been going 66% for 3 coming into this game. Can't get that one, as we see Marina Mabry's back into the game. So too is the player that you call for, Jenny, and that's Britt Smart. 4 of 7 from long range for her. She leads them with 14 points, the Capitals. Long range 2, slightly off balance, won't go. Sharp's back into the game, stretching the floor. Chibatoni up to Scherf, the mismatch into the paint on Smart. The kick out to Isenbarger. That's her second 3-pointer of the game.
Well, it may not be their home court and they're not playing, in front of the Red Army in Perth, but they're making the most of this Ballarat Stadium and the way that they're shooting. 22 to 5 quarter in favour of Perth. Biggest lead of the game, it's at 14 points and danger signs for Canberra. As Smart lets loose from long range. What was coming so easily to her in the first half. Mabry wanted the foul and gave up on it. Didn't even chase Sykes down the floor, and she gets the easiest of layups. You can see her trying to will on her team right now. It's just one stop. Can they get another one and then another one and then be able to put points on the board? It's only 12 points, and they haven't had a pretty quarter. They've only scored 5 for the quarter. As we see Alex Chibatoni coming up with a nice little cut and finish, sending herself to the line for a 3-point play action here. She's been pretty good off the bench. I mean, 2 of 4 points, and it doesn't look like her stats are huge, but she's had some really, really effective plays in the context of the game. She did a nice shot before in transition that we saw against Sykes, and now she finds herself at the line, the Adelaide youngster.
Perth are going to get another look here. Sharp involved again. Mabry almost had her pocket picked by Smart. Step back, going to be called for the offensive foul here, and just to make it sting a little more, she did bury the shot. Is she checking herself out of the game, Marina Mabry?
She might be. Well, she's got 4 fouls, so she's definitely going to check herself out of the game and take a breather and reflect on that one. And she can't argue with that one. She might have been argue with the one, her third foul.
Didn't I say earlier that how I was impressed that she doesn't seem to get rattled? Have I just mozzed her?
Well, maybe, yeah. The commentators curse, but, she needs to take a breather now. But and this could be the little spark that UC need. With her sitting on the bench, can they claw back this deficit?
14-point lead. Sykes. Roof on the post. Oh, faked the shot and then couldn't connect with Bunton underneath, who'd made the strong cut to the bucket. 71-57. Chibatoni left all alone. Nice high arc on that 3-point attempt, and there's contact after the shot. Cameron went with the ball, so did we, so we'll wait to see what the call is. It looks like it's going to be a Perth ball.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a foul to the UC Caps. I loved their ball movement and execution down the other end, and Ruth had the ball in the post. I would have loved to seen her gone up, back herself a little bit more. She averages 8 points and 7 rebounds a game, and she's been really the shining light in this third quarter. Hopefully next time she gets that opportunity, she's looking at the rim.
Isenbarger, Chibatoni goes straight at the bucket, drew 2, and then found Isenbarger. She's having a good game, up to 8 points now. Smart, Ruth hasn't stopped trying, just heaves it up, no luck. Sharp, another invaluable rebound. Sammy Whitcomb will general them. Garvin 22 points, Scherf 15, 14 for Smart, 12 for Sykes for the Capitals, 11 for Griffin. Whitcomb got the screen and gave it to Garvin. Isenbarger's feeling it at the moment, and she splashes that one in, her third three-pointer.
11 points for the youngster off the bench. Great to see her getting some contributions for the Perth Lynx as they drain another one from deep. Huge quarter for the Perth Lynx.
29-7, if my maths is correct.
Yeah, it is correct.
That's a monstrous quarter for the Perth Lynx. 76-57, a 19-point lead. That was the margin when they played each other last Friday. It's the margin as we turn for home at Ballarat. Perth 76, Canberra 57.
We have walked this land for a long time. We know how far we've gone, and we're sure of how far we can go. Unity is not just a word here. It's not just a spirit in this sport. It's the way we all move. We are proud of our art, country, family, language, and culture. We are united by basketball.
Welcome to FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
A quarter to go at Ballarat. It was a 29-5 third quarter demolition job by Perth. They were trailing by 3 points at half time, and they have absolutely walloped the Capitals in that third quarter. Sam Hargraves, Jenny Screen with you. What on earth happened to the Capitals, Jenny?
It was probably deja vu from their Friday night first quarter performance. You know, They say third quarter games and championships, the old cliche that are won in the third quarter, and right now Perth Lynx showed that with their domination to the UC Caps. You know, for me, the UC Caps had their moments, except for that rebound count, 40-24. They just took sometimes some shots that were too quick and didn't get some, you know, feet in the paint and pressure the Perth Lynx defensively. And then on the defensive end, they're just allowing too many easy shots for my liking to a team that is just a dominant force in terms of offensive prowess.
Yep, and they can just explode and get you when you least expect it, Perth. So we're back underway. Fourth quarter action, foul, offensive foul call. I think it's against Sykes.
And this is probably the area the UC Caps are going to have to clean up as the season goes on. You know, they haven't played that many games. They're only 5 into the season. So they're learning how to gel and work with each other. But they've got to learn to get the momentum swings down quicker. You know, games of basketball and sport in general are all about momentum swing. And right now, they had a 10-minute momentum swing in that third quarter. That's something that they're going to have to get better at as the season goes on.
Sykes rebounds the sharp three-point attempt, and now she goes to work. Can't get past Whitcomb. Froling can't finish. Garbin the rebound. She's got 22 points, and that's her 7th rebound in this game. And I love that Ryan Petrick says to a young player like Ashley Isenbarger, who pulls up for another three on cue. 4 from 5 from the land of plenty. 8 points in the third, and Ryan Petrick says, stay in there, you've got the hot hand, and she repays the faith.
No, credit to her. I think her and Chipa Tony have done a great job with their minutes tonight. You know, Mabry sitting on the bench and in frustration, but credit to these youngsters coming off the bench for Perth, who probably don't get many opportunities, that they're taking them with both hands and owning them, as we see Ruth knocking down a shot that she probably doesn't do very often, but nice to see a smile across her face.
And she was laughing that she might not have called bank on that one. Whitcomb thought that was going. She was making her move back down the other end when that left her hand and just couldn't get it to drop. 19-point lead to Perth. Plenty of basketball still in this quarter. Wilson horseshoes around and ran into a wall of red singlets. So she coughs it up. Inside, showing Chivatoni why she's the best defender in the WNBA and probably right now in the WNBL. Whitcomb, Wilson, and Whitcomb wins that little war.
That was nice. That was just great composure off the pick and roll there. A nice little steady dribble, pulled up her defender, and then was able to put the jets on and get herself to the rack.
Almost the steal from Sammy Whitcomb there. Payer, Sykes right to left, step back, feign the pass, and knocked it down from the elbow. All just seems to come quite easily for Britt Sykes, doesn't it? 14 points now for her. Forcing Chibatoni to give it up. She does to Sharp. Garvin. Radar is off at the moment. 22 points for her. Most of them came in the first half. Sykes spin and then thought she had Froling on the trail. Couldn't get it to her, but the ricochet comes up with Wilson. No look. Sykes doesn't pull the trigger on the three. Gets the find to Roof, but she can't get the finish. Well done, Froling. The hustle to go after the offensive glass. Sykes, this time, just a little bit too much force on the layup. Whitcomb, Isenbarger. Garvin hands it off to Chibatoni. And then tries to set the screen for her, nothing doing. So gives it back up to Isenbarger. Whitcomb lost Wilson, and then Euro steps inside, got the finish and the foul.
And she's like, finally, I get a call going my way. Normally the superstars get the calls, but Sammy's had to work hard for them tonight. You know, Perth have been superb in this second half. Their shooting has been a dominant force the whole game. And now they're starting to put the ball on the floor and get themselves to the rack as well. For me, the UC Caps, you never want to wave the white flag, but they've got 3 games in 5 days. And the chances of them coming back in the next 6 minutes to win this one is going to be pretty tough. So now you've got to start thinking as a coach, do I get some rotations in? I've got a game Friday. I've got a game Friday. I'm against Southside Flyers for the first time this season. And Sunday we're in Bendigo, against Bendigo, who are always tough at home. As we know, they've got to start to see, okay, what are we doing here?
And credit to Perth too, because the thought might have been that in that Boomers loss, that maybe just a lot of games in a row might have just started to wear them down as Griffin gets a much-needed three-pointer. But they've looked very sharp, except for that second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, credit to them. They're fit and they're ready to go. They're starting to get their legs underneath them. We saw in that, the first game of the season and then against Adelaide as well, they just looked a bit sluggish and now they're match fit. And you wouldn't think that they're playing their 4th game in 7 days, the way that they're able to, penetrate, knock it from deep and then continue some physicality on the defensive end as well.
And now it's a bit of showtime. Whitcomb, the no-look pass, Garvin was fouled. But this is the biggest stat that I think the Capitals will highlight potentially on that whiteboard after the game, Jenny, is the 17-7 offensive rebound count.
It's huge. I mean, they did better. Like, let's give them some credit. They had 11 in the first quarter, did Perth. So UC Caps have cleaned that up a little bit. But obviously that's hurt them down in the long run in terms of possession, the game. And then I think, credit to the bench of Perth. I think they've come on, they've added some punch. They've had 22 points off the bench, predominantly through Isenbarger and Chibatoni, who's done a great job. And not to mention Sharp. She's only got 1 point, but she's done a great job on the glass. She's got 4 offensive rebounds and a total of 6 for the game. As we see, a much-needed bucket from the UC Caps.
Jade Melbourne got there really quickly to lend a hand to Froling, who honoured that work. Quick ball movement. Perth absolutely on top of their game at the moment, but Garvin denied by Griffin. How many times has she done that in her storied career?
Too many times, and can continue to still do it at the ripe old age that she is.
So Payer, no luck from the stripe after a good move to get into the lane. 19-point margin it was on Friday night to finish up Kelly Wilson's 400th game. And Whitcomb gets fouled by Kelsey Griffin. So for Perth, they've got Sydney on the 23rd, then Southside on the 27th, and then they're playing Bendigo on the 29th. And as you mentioned, Capitals have got Southside on the 21st, Bendigo the 23rd, then the Boomers on the 28th.
Yeah, and I would think and I would assume if the Caps can come away with 2 out of 3 on the road in the next 5 days, then they would be happy with their weekend, shall we say, away.
Mabry checked out of the game for a substantial amount of time, getting 4 fouls. Jackie Young in on the 3-point party now. Capitals can't answer back, but Smart went and cleaned up her own work. Melbourne left all alone. They'd expect a player, even a young player, but of her calibre, to knock down the open look. Scherf and Clark into the game. Young under pressure. Clark for 3. Garvin easily just reached over the top.
Cool.
Get the return back in. And there's a foul call.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, no. That's the unfortunate thing. Like UC Caps are trying to change it up. They've gone to a 2-3 zone and challenging Perth in different ways, which is nice to see. To keep them guessing and challenge them and be brave. You know, they've got nothing to lose when you're down by 19 points. That's the only thing that happens against a zone, though, that you kind of get giving up offensive rebound opportunities or the ability to rebound like you normally would. And then Perth doing what they do with another player. Clark hitting another long range 2 of 3 for the game.
Gee, they've just got shooting all the way down the roster. Griffin gets another triple for her.
You know what it is for me? I think they've just got confidence across the board. And obviously that's driven from their coach, Ryan Petrick, in terms of, you know, if you're open, shoot it. But they've also, their ball movement's great. Their ability to find each other like that. Cutting action is superb. And it's a credit to them. And, you know, they're probably lucky, too, that they had the first part of the season off and were able to watch and take notes and scout other teams like they have been able to.
Well, we were so eagerly anticipating their opening games because, especially when they signed Sammy Whitcomb, and then you looked and thought, well, they're going to be starting Alex Sharp, who has been named in the overall squad of players to be picked from for these World Cup qualifiers that the Opals have got coming up. She's coming off the bench, so you've got Opals coming off the bench for Perth.
Yeah.
As Isenbarger is having a good game.
Good game. Mate, she averages 1 point a game and she's flying with 14 or 15 for the game now. It's a stellar performance and probably the best one that she's had in this uniform.
And again, just speaking to that depth that this Lynx roster has. So, Abby Cabillo into the game now. So you called for it with a really jam-packed schedule to come. They'll start going to their bench. Griffin looking to add to her 17 points, 3 of 5. From outside the arc, 4 of 10 now on the night from the field. Isenbarger to Burrows. Scherf puts it on the floor. Enjoyed that battle when her and Bunton have gone one-on-one. And they'll get another start here at Perth. So they'll ring some more changes with 2:51 on the clock. Mackenzie Clinch Hoycart comes in. I love a hyphenated name. And Gandini into the game as well. Emma Gandini, number 31. Mia Sating into the game too, and they just run out of time. So the heave up in hope from Clark is no good. What can you tell me about Mackenzie Clinch Hoycart?
Not a lot, actually. You know, a youngster,
yep.
An up-and-comer, and, you know, probably reveling in her opportunity to get these couple of minutes that she probably is not normally going to get throughout a season of WNBL.
Smart's cooled off a little, hasn't she? She was 4 of 5 at one point, now 4 of 10.
She has. I mean, she sat a little bit in that third quarter. We didn't see a lot of her there. But again, you know, was that the stagnation from the UC Caps? That it was like the 1-2 pass and then we're going to shoot it because we've got no other options happening. And then maybe they just ran out of legs as well.
Oh, that's a sublime find from Clinch Hoycart underneath the Clark. got through about 3 sets of Capitals players. Can they salvage something? It's not good reading. 23-point Perth lead. Melbourne had Bunton on the trail. She can't get the deuce, but can get the foul. Gee, it looked so promising for the UC Caps. Half-time, 3-point lead, Jenny, and it's been all Perth since then. I mean, they've put 23 points on the board since half-time, UC, and in that same amount of time, 49 points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can reflect on this one from the UC Caps and think we had a better start. We had good options. There's a lot of things to take out of that first and second quarters for my liking from the UC Caps, and they'll go away and get better, and no doubt they will. But Perth are putting everyone on notice right now, not just with their starters, but with their bench. And I must. You asked me what clinch Hoycard is good at, and I just got a shout out from Zoe Carr, a coach in Victoria, and she's told me that a WA country junior, excellent three-point shooter. There you go. So thank you, Zoe, for giving me the much-needed information that I should know.
It is a credit to Perth that they really do make every effort to play locals, to play WA talent.
Yep. Absolutely, and I'll give credit to them. They have always tried to do that. Adelaide were a club that tried to do that as well for many years, and you know, as we see another bench player just battling away in Gandini.
Taya Burrows wants a piece of Jade Melbourne. Gives it up, though, and why wouldn't you? Isenbarger's had the hot hand. 19 points, and there's a foul off the ball. Looks like it's going to Perth. 99 to 73, 26-point lead. This is third playing fourth, and the Capitals were in third coming into this game.
Yeah, and when you talk about Isenbarger, she's played 16 minutes for her 19 points. For me, she's pretty much the MVP for game, considering that Mabry and Whitcomb have been pretty quiet for this game. So that would give, you know, Ryan Petrick a little bit of confidence, knowing that he can go to his bench at any point, and knowing what they have done tonight, that hopefully they can back it up in the games to come.
So a very, very tough night for the UC Caps. A dominant display from Perth. We've got under a minute to play, as the Perth bench players get a chance to strut their stuff. Taya Burrows gets all the way from half court. Underneath, Jade Melbourne says, not on this occasion. She'll come away with it. Emma Gandini, tight defence. And the youngest member of the Opals team to play Serbia. As the Opals get set to start their run to the World Cup in Sydney this year. Three-point attempt from Casey Samuels won't go, and the return effort from Bunton unsuccessful as well. So just about a second differential between game and shot clock. This three-point party shows no signs of letting up.
On cue, you know, backing up what she does on the scout sheet, known for her three-point shooting ability, but, you know, if I'm Perth right now, I'm loving playing at Ballarat, the way that these girls are stroking it from deep.
Well, you got the male, and then we got the example of what Mackenzie Clinch-Hoycard can do from long range. As the siren sounds, this was a demolition job. Perth Lynx, the highest scoring team in the WNBL. They average just over 80 a game, and they put 102 on the UC Capitals, who could only manage 73 of their own. It was a 29-point win, and that is a statement made for Perth.
It was a stellar game. Excellent. I thought the first half was absolutely superb, and there's some really good things that UC Caps can take out of that game. Now they've both got to go away, back it up. We know that they're facing the Southside Flyers, the UC Caps are, on Friday night. But, you know, I would take a lot of things away in terms of their ball movement, their hustle in that first half. If we just eradicated that third quarter, we wouldn't be having a discussion now about how Perth were just, you know, a demolition from the three-point line tonight.
Well, they're showing, too, that they're not a one-trick pony. I mean, it's another quiet night for Marina Mabry. They're putting a lot of attention into her in the last two games. She had 9 points. She only had 10 against the Boomers. but no drama at all. And she's been averaging 22 for the year coming into this, and they put 102, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think might be the highest score that a team's put up this season. 102 to 73. They got 24 from Garvin, 6 of 10 from the deep for her, 19 from Ashley Isenbarger, who was 5 of 7 three-point shooting with 19 points. And these are the team stats. And what's the one that jumps out most to you, Jenny?
I mean, the 10 extra shots that Lynx had came off the back of their incredible, second possession game in terms of rebounding. 51 rebounds to 33 for the game was absolutely stellar. Both teams are shooting an exceptional clip. You'd be happy as a coach if either of your teams or your team was shooting 40+% from the three-point line in any game. But Perth were just too good across the board with too many players. 35 points off the bench tonight compared to 18 for the UC Caps. They are going to be a force to reckon with this season.
They certainly are for the Capitals. They were best served by KG23, 17 points for her. They got 14 from Sykes and Smart. They got 10 from Jade Melbourne. But that was a warning shot fired across the whole league from the Perth Lynx, who are going to be away from home, you'd think, for the whole year. And that's their home away from home in Ballarat. Tomorrow night, Sydney Uni Flames looking for their first win. Adelaide Lightning are 3-1 on the year. And they look a very, very potent lineup, your old mob, Jenny.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Chris Lucas is very well known for putting a great line up together. They're well drilled, they're well oiled, and they'll get better as the season goes on. And when you've got someone like Steph Talbot leading the way in the way she does and goes about her business, that they're going to be tough to beat, and especially at home. But Sydney's a team that haven't played much. They've had a lot of turmoil, they've had injuries, they've had players leave, they've had COVID, and we haven't seen a lot of them yet. So it's going to be interesting, and can they take it to a few teams this year given how young they are? They're not shooting great, but defensively they've been pretty good. So I'm excited for that matchup tomorrow night.
So the Capitals now 3-3 on the year. The Perth Lynx are now 3-2 after a 29-point rampage at the expense of the UC Capitals. Big win to Perth. Thanks so much for your company. Big thanks to Jenny Screen, to the whole team behind us that put together this wonderful broadcast of the WNBL. What a game that was. High quality, some of the best in the business, showing us exactly why. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Until next time, have a great night. Stay safe.